Troopers and grinders. Hank the Tank is here, finally. Hank the Tank is doing the preview and predictions for UFC 322. Yep, it's a big-ass card, folks. They managed to get 14 fights and keep them on there somehow, some way. Even though the fights got canceled a million times, they managed to salvage together and throw a few bums in on short notice. And pay-per-view is 14 fights, guys. Thank God. I would never pay for a pay-per-view or a subscription service for a UFC pay-per-view if it had like 11 or 12 fights, you know? Like, that's just an amount that you see on your average, Apex fight night during the pandemic, okay? So, no, I'm happy that UFC 322 has some talent salvaged, thrown together. And what talents they are, man. Going through the whole main card and even looking at the prelims, I wouldn't say it's UFC 300 level, but it's definitely stacked. There's good fights from top to bottom, very close competitive fights between names that people know, and even the ones that maybe people don't know are going to be putting on bangers, so they will be known by the people. But yeah, I'm excited for this card. There's a lot of hype behind quite a few of these, so I'll definitely be at alert and eyeballing my screen with great anticipation of the results. Yeah, it's going to be exciting, man. Like it's not like fight night cards where there's like one or two fights that I'm interested in and the rest can kick rocks. Like, no, there's like a good fight every other fight on this card. So gonna be super exciting. Still don't know what's happening with the Mecca. Maybe Clown will go live tonight or something. I don't know. Or maybe he'll just skip this event. Could easily happen as well, but either way, Hank is getting back to work, and he is putting together his preview and picks for all the troopers and grinders out there, because God knows they need their strategies from their Grand Admiral. So I'm going to be diving into the fights, into the predictions. Freaking Malcolm Wellmaker dealing with two opponent swaps, but 3 opponents altogether. Like, these guys are finding ways to get injuries for themselves, like, before they get to fight Wellmaker. So it's very interesting. Same thing happened with the Teba Gautier. I actually don't even think it's just quitting. I think it's these guys, like, get so stressed out about having to fight someone with unbelievable power and speed that they end up overworking themselves in the gym and causing themselves injuries. So, yeah, these guys are scary. They're getting these fighters shook. They're getting their opponents shook. So it is what it is. Hank the Tank still analyzed everything and made his predictions, so don't worry. Hank the Tank has his bases covered for every single fight on this by God card. Okay, boy? So, yeah. I don't know what just came into me for a second there. Sorry, I think I had something caught in my throat for a second there. I don't know what that was, but yeah, let's get into it, guys. Actually, maybe I'll give it like maybe 5 more minutes to get some banter going on and get some folks in here. But then Hank the Tank will be going through his predictions. So sorry this didn't come out on a Thursday. On a Thursday, I was throwing up on a Tuesday. Anthony Fantano here with his next door neighbor and fellow roommate, Gail Chichester. Come on. I give it a 10 on this record. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a classic. It's a classic. Come on, Anthony. Give the album a chance. What's up? What's up? Oh, man. Remember those days? Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. Jesus, I sort of look like Rudy Giuliani with my lip right. And Donald Trump did nothing wrong with the tapes. Donald Trump did not put his documents in Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump is a sincere individual. Oh, God. Now that I was doing it, like, I can't do it again. Donald Trump is an honest man, and I am not about to suffer a stroke right now. Anyway, Jesus Christ, that was dark. But, yeah, let's get into this shit. How are you doing, Larry? I know I think we're all in sort of a somber mood, knowing that the clown show is not here right now. So, yeah, it's sort of sad, you know? We're missing him. We can't live with or without him. But he's not streaming no more. At least for now. He's not streaming no more. At least right now. And then it's sad, man. And when a man dies, it is sad. In this case, it is Clown who has died. He is survived by his 3 widows and the rest of his kick users, and they are sad. When a man dies, it is sad. And on this day, it is him who has died. And that's sad. He was a man. And when a man dies, it is sad. And Hank the Tank was interested in politics from a very young age. All right, let's enough bullshit. Let's cut the crap and get into these predictions. I ramble sometimes. It's not good for me. But yeah, I mean, we're in a bad mood. Clown is not here at the moment. So we just got to make our own fun in the meantime. That's what I was trying to do on Wednesday. But and I don't know if our picks for this card are going to count towards the Mecca. We really don't know. Maybe it'll get skipped. Maybe it won't. Or maybe he'll just be taking a look at the results for this. But, man. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, you know. But it happens. Oh, yeah, it happens. Oh, yeah. There we go. That's better. Or is that worse? I don't know. Here, let me try to... Oh, that's good. Yeah. All right, I'll do it from here. So, first fight is between Malcolm the Wellmaker and Ethan Ewing. So, Malcolm was supposed to first fight Surrey City. I guarantee, I definitely think Malcolm would have won that. Surrey City sucks. He's terrible off his back foot. Can't take strikes to save his life. And then Surrey pulled out. Cam Haddon stepped in on short notice. And I'll tell you guys, for real, hopefully Clown comes back soon. Son, I want to know. Hey, all right, calm down. I need you to calm down, Wanderley. And I go back a long time. We go back to the Pride days. We know what this sport is really about. But Wanderley just can't get out of his own head. He always has to mess with the bad guy. I can't let you get close. Here. Amateur. Oh, wanna know. Oh, what you gonna do? Shama. I can't let you get close. But Malcolm Wellmaker, yes, he's taking on the Ewing man. Ewing went back to Tennessee. It was the son of a Wellmaker. It was the son of a well-making man. It was the son of a preacher man. Yo, listen up, here's a story. God damn it. Work, you son of a bitch. Okay, finally. So, Malcolm Wellmaker was going to take on Cam Haddon. Haddon pulled out. No diddy. Very embarrassing. It sucks. Fight got canceled. I don't know why. I don't know if Cam Haddon's team pulled him out or if he sustained an injury or what. I was legitimately considering picking Cam Haddon for a little bit. Like, I thought, man, Haddon's pressure game, he's going to get up in Wellmaker's face. He's going to beat him up a little bit, take him down eventually, and Wellmaker's gas tank was going to go empty. Like, I had all sorts of possibilities spinning through my head. I eventually landed on Wellmaker getting the KO anyway. But now I'm even doubly sure because now Cam Haddon's out and Ethan Ewing is stepping in on short notice. What a fucking name. Ethan with a Y, And then Ewing, which is like evil fucking Alabama Jim Crow last name, you know? But this guy's got some power. He knocked out Billy Brand just like Cody Haddon did. But he's taken on worse competition than Wellmaker has. And this is his best win. But other than that, he's a striker. He doesn't seem to be a wrestler at all. He seems to be a stand-up artist. The reason I was considering Haddon is because Haddon, you know, he has a great pressure game with boxing, but he can also take you down. And I thought that combination might just be Wellmaker's kryptonite. But Ethan Ewing is primarily just a stand-up guy. And I know Malcolm Wellmaker is probably the quicker and more powerful athlete with better hooks, with perfect counter-striking and timing. Fuck my goddamn hair. And he makes wells for a living. This guy's tough, all right? He's a machine when it comes to making wells. Okay? So, he's, yeah, I think Ethan Ewing's a shoo-in for getting knocked out here. He's primarily a stand-up guy, and I guarantee he's not as quick as Wellmaker. I guarantee his timing's not as good as Wellmaker. So, I think Wellmaker's going to knock him out with the counter. In, let's see, the first round. I think it's going to be the first round. I don't think Ethan Ewing is a wrestling type. It doesn't show any ground and pound for these. Just says KO, TKO, head kick, and punch. So Ewing's primarily a stand-up guy. I think Wellmaker is going to beat him on the feet. So Wellmaker by KO. Also, this is on like 3 or 4 days' notice. So that's not good either. And then we have the next contest, second fight of the night. It is going to be Slava Claus Vyacheslav Borshev against Mateusz Camillo, the guy with the scariest face I have ever seen in my by God life. I got to show this. This dude's picture is fucking frightening. Yeah. Oh, God. When I was doing the freaking Hanks breakdown, this image fucking scared the shit out of me. Look at that. This guy's a fucking monster right here. Even the mouth guard's scary. Looks like his goddamn teeth. Yeah, anyway. Had to just discuss that because I'm frightened of him. I'll be honest, I'm frightened. But now he's taking on Slava Claus. And I like Slava Claus, but he is on a, you know, he hasn't won 4 out of his last 5. And he came very close to losing against James Longtop. Chase Hooper, you know, Chase Hooper looked really good, beating Slava Claus. He went on a really good tear after that and before that as well. He looked like a good prospect. Tom Nolan beat the shit out of him, but Tom Nolan's super tall, super athletic. And Terrence McKinney knocks him down and subs him, but that's Terrence McKinney, man. He finishes everybody within a round. So, and Slava Claus was fighting to get out of that for like, half a minute. So I'm sort of gonna take stuff away from him a little bit for losing that, but I still think he's a tough guy to beat on the ground. Mateusz Camillo, meanwhile, he was, winning fights with wrestling, but against Gabe Green, it was more of a stand-up affair. He did get Gabe Green down in moments, came close to beating him in moments on the ground, but then Gabe Green came back and subbed him. The main issue I have here is that Mateusz Camillo's gas tank is just really not good. Rounds 2 and 3, he just starts to wilt and give up a little bit. Like, killer instinct starts to fade from him. I think his best chance to beat Slava Claus is to sub him or, on the ground in the first round. If he can't do that, I think Borshev is going to still be in it as the fight goes on, and he's just going to pick him apart on the feet. I think Camillo's going to slow, going to start taking some deep breaths. Slava's going to put his combinations together. I think it could be a split decision like we saw with James Longtop, but I also think Borshev could just find a way to will himself to win and just, have a better output and better cardio and pace. I think Mateus Camillo is just, he's a one-round guy, sort of like McKinney is, but then he starts to just lose himself over time, and he's not a killer like McKinney. He really isn't. Like, these are fights that are going to a decision. He has, KO here and a triangle armbar there, but that's a triangle, like, on his back. Like, is he going to get anything on top with the sub? I doubt it. I think Borshev's going to tough his way out of that, personally. So, give me Slava Claus to get the upset with better conditioning, more resilience, more persistence, and Camillo's just going to get worn out, and Slava Claus is going to take full advantage. All right, yet another strange sort of short notice fight here. We have Baisangar Susurkayev against really one of the worst at middleweight. This dude barely won against Cody Brundage. Like, I would actually argue that Cody won that fight, so he really shouldn't even be fighting still. He shouldn't have been fighting still after Ruzabov knocked him out. Susurkayev I view as just as much of a killer as Ruzabov is. On the feet, we saw against Talha, he knocked him out with a body kick. Knocked out, knockout. Baisangar, his stand-up's really good. He picks people apart at range. Eric Nolan, he did get cocky and he got caught by Eric, but he turned it around. He showed he had wrestling in his game. Still subbed him immediately after the first round. I do think his killer instinct is there. I think he just sort of got in his own head a little bit with Eric Nolan, and it sort of cost him, and he got wobbled. Eric McConaughey is a point fighter. Like, he doesn't hit you with stuff that knocks you out. Like, his last KO was with body shots to a 15-10 guy. Everything else is just decision or a split or, like, he goes by the numbers and he points fights and makes his fights really close. You can't do that against Susurkayev, who's going to be an absolute killer for all 3 rounds. Like, he's going to be there to try to put you out, try to finish you. And he's been able to do it frequently in a number of ways. Against McConaughey, I think he's just not going to take him seriously, but he's going to have the body kicks. He's going to have the combinations. He's got the power like Ruzabov does. And I think he's going to put McConaughey out in the first round. He's going to show the Susurkayev we saw against Talha. He's way more prepared for this. He has a camp ready for McConaughey. He knows his weaknesses. He's not stepping in on days' notice. Honestly, even if he did step on days' notice, he'd probably still win this. But I think Susurkayev's going to have time. He's going to have a full training camp, and he's going to get McConaughey out of there in the first round through teeps and body kicks and powerful shots at range. All right, next fight is between... Oh, wait, what happened? We're good. Next fight is between Angela Hill, Overkill Hill, and Fatima Klein. I love picking Hill as the underdog, but I have to go with Fatima Klein here. She just has levels on both the ground and the feet. Was beating Melissa Martinez and just decided the head kick was there. Like, that is killer instinct right there. Jazzy J she lost to, but that was a closely contested bout. She got Jazzy J down a few times. I think that's pretty impressive. And she has knockout power as well as like slick work on the ground. Destroyed Dudikova within a couple rounds. Like, I think she's just a well-rounded athlete. Angela Overkill Hill lost to Yasmin Lucindo. You're not supposed to do that, especially if you're an underrated talent like Hill. Richie, she loses to. I really don't consider Baby Shark that good. She should have won against both these chicks, like, especially with the women that she was beating, like Denise Gomes is a really good win. Like, how are you beating Denise and then not beating these ladies, especially Lucindo? Like, she's on the level of a Denise Gomes. But I don't know. I feel like she's going to get taken down by Klein a lot. Both Tabitha Ritchie and Lucindo took Hill down at will. Overkill Hill got took down at will. And even against Caitlin Souza, she was getting taken down a few times. Like, I just don't like this for Hill. I think Klein has power and, accuracy on the feet also. Angela Hill, the pop in her shot is starting to fade. She's starting to get tagged up a lot in her fights. And you can't do that against someone like Fatima Klein. You got to get her respect. You got to swing back and sort of stifle her game. And Hill hasn't been able to do that against, in my opinion, way worse competition than Fatima Klein. So, yeah, I think Hill's going to get outstruck. I think she's going to get taken down whatever. I think there's a chance Klein could get a finish on the ground. But I rate Hill enough to believe that she'll still have the will to survive. She'll have good instinct on the ground to keep herself out of trouble. But on the feet, this isn't even close. I think Klein's going to beat her up. So give me Klein by unanimous decision, not even a split. All right, next fight is between Chepe Mariscal and Pat Sabatini. Give me Pat. I think Pat is going to win the rematch. These two actually fought before on the independent scene. So really, this should be called Chepe Mariscal versus Pat Sabatini too. But I think both these guys have sort of improved since then. But just because they've improved doesn't mean that one guy hasn't improved more than the other. And I think that Pat Sabatini has improved a lot more than Chepe Mariscal. I really do. Like Chepe, he finds himself in weird positions with Ricardo, finds himself on bottom against Damon Jackson, gets taken down a few times and pressured up against the fence by Morgan Charrier. Like against solid, decent wrestlers, he's getting taken down and kept on bottom for like half the round. Whereas Pat Sabatini took down Joe Anderson Brito and beat him up on the ground and stayed on the ground. Like he kept top position. He pinned him down. And then he carpet bagged him. He knew he could, and so he did. He kept Joe Anderson Brito down. Brito had no answer or response to it whatsoever. Like he was able to just wet carpet. Jonathan Piercy gets the finish. Lopez, is really good. Lucas Almeida gets the arm triangle, but he can smother people. He smothered Joe Anderson. And something tells me that he's improved a lot since their first fight to the point that he can keep Mariscal down. Like he can take him down and make sure he doesn't scramble or implement his get-up game or reverse. I think Sabatini is really good at keeping the fight on the mat. And Mariscal's showing that he's getting taken down over and over again and finding himself on bottom against guys he really shouldn't be. And I think if he allows himself to be on bottom against Pat, it's going to be game over. So give me Pat Sabatini to just outwork him, essentially, and smother him on the mat. Give me 1 second, by the way. Hold on. What brief pause. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Sorry. Anyway, next big fight on the prelims. I love this fight between the GOAT, GM3, and the Darce Knight, Kyle the Better Dawkins. I gotta pick Kyle Dawkins. I'm sorry. I want to pick GM3 so bad. I know Kyle Dawkins could have easily fluked it against Pereira. Could easily end up on his back because these old fucks, like, we're taking him down and making him scramble and really, like, you know, making him panic a little bit. I know that's the key to victory for GM3, but I think him knocking out this 5-1 guy and then immediately knocking out the Pereira too, that shows me he's confident in his hands, man. That shows me that he knows how to strike now. Like before that, Kyle Dawkins could only wrestle, get his little Darces, the Darce Knight, ha ha ha. But this dude's a killer on the feet now. And if he's not a killer against GM3 and he proves that he's not UFC level, like, he can still take GM3 down and sub him. Like, the experience of Kyle Dawkins is really good. He gets takedowns. If he leaves GM3 in a vulnerable spot, he can get that Darce if he wants to. Like, I could easily see him just hurting GM3 and then immediately locking up the Darce afterwards. There's a really good chance he could get a round 1 sub. I don't know, man. The last guy that GM3 took down, really took down, was Edmund Shabazian. And it was a desperate attempt. He couldn't get Edmund down for 2 rounds. Like, other than that, couldn't get DeRitter down. Couldn't get Tavares down once. And Mikhail Oleksiejczuk knocks him out. I don't think GM3's takedown ability is good. I think Kyle Dawkins has the wrestling and the grappling to avoid getting taken down by GM3. I really do. And even if he does, I think Kyle's solid enough that he can reverse position and lock in a submission. But even just in general on the feet, this is no contest. Gerald, like, throws out his body kicks, throws out his little right hook, throws out his leg kick, while Kyle Dawkins is actually starting to have hot hands, nasty hands, starting to put people out he shouldn't be putting out. And GM3 is just a walking target. He's not a moving target. He's stable. Head's not on a swivel. It's stationary. I think Kyle Dawkins can knock him out. If he can knock Michel Pereira out, he can knock GM3 out. Simple as. So give me Dawkins by round 1 KO. Simple as that. All right, next fight between Aaron Blanchfield and Tracy Cortez. So they'll say that this is the rematch, but they won't, they won't consider the, what was it? They won't consider Mariscal versus Sabatini 2 a rematch, I guess. Guess because they didn't fight, in the UFC before that. They didn't fight in the UFC in that first fight, but we got Blanchfield against Cortez 2, Electric Boogaloo. Give me Blanchfield. She beat Cortez the last time. And wait, did she? Hold on, I gotta look this up. When did these two fight? Okay, so she lost to Cortez in a split in 2019. But that was 2019 by split. I guarantee you that Blanchfield has gotten better since then. She took down Rose Namajunas like 3 or 4 times. That's impressive to me. Maybe 5 or 6. Barely lost to Menon Fiorot. She couldn't get her takedowns in. But Cortez got taken down by Rose Namajunas. Like, she got taken down by Jazzy J. I think she even got taken down by Araujo. which is a really bad look. I think Blanchfield's wrestling has only improved, and Cortez's wrestling has gotten shit. Like, she's primarily a striker. I don't think she's going to take Blanchfield down. I think Blanchfield's much stronger. The only person she hasn't been able to take down is Fiora, and she mostly stuck to her striking game there. She took Tyler Santos down over and over. Like, that's impressive to me. On draw, she gets down. Some women haven't been able to. I don't know, man. If she can take down Rose Namajunas, she can take down Tracy Cortez easy. I know that's MMA math, but Cortez hasn't gotten better to me in terms of her wrestling defense. So give me Erin Blanchfield. She'll take down Cortez at some point, maybe even submit her, but I have her by decision. Cortez is a joke. Yeah, she just shows up for the camera and for media to make herself look good. She's not a killer. She's not a fighter. She's there for influence. She wears fucking fake eyelashes in her fights. That's embarrassing. Fighting with fake eyelashes, I know. That's so bad, man. She's just there for the paycheck and to, get recognition and end up on TMZ. Like, she's not here to be the champion. She isn't. Trying to be like the Karate Hottie 2.0. If you're taking this shit serious, don't wear fucking fake eyelashes to a fight. Anyway, now we got Kopylov against Gregory Rodriguez. I mean, maybe she was sure she was going to win. It's Rose Namajunas. You take her. Is she wearing eyelashes? Is Namajunas wearing eyelashes? Does she have long flowing hair like she did before? Does she have makeup on? No. She's actually there to fight, and she shaved herself, and she's a solid athlete. Who's an actual contender. Anyway, next prelim bout. I love this fight between Kopylov and Rodriguez. These are two of my favorite middleweights. I hate that one of these guys has to lose. I really do. But I got to side with RoboCop here. Kopylov got dropped by Paulo Costa. What else can you say? He got dropped by Paulo Costa. And Costa's just, how to put it? He's just trudging all the time. There's a word for it. I forget. He's a plodding guy. He plods on the feet. He stays, and then, now I'm ready to go. Punch. Now I'm stopping. Here comes this one. He's not a smooth striker. And neither is, honestly, Gregory Rodriguez. However, Costa was just able to be a plotty guy. And he still dropped Roman. Hey, Roman, let's go bowling. He dropped Roman like he was a bowling pin. Chris Curtis. He was getting beat up by Chris, and Chris went to a split with Max Griffin. That's an awful look against Cesar Almeida. He was in big trouble, and he's lucky he got Almeida down at moments. Fluffy Hernandez he loses to. That's not a bad loss. But a loss to Paulo Costa is. Because Costa's a plotter, and he still managed to catch the chin of Kopylov. What the fuck is RoboCop going to do? RoboCop knocked out Jack Hermanson with one punch. Super impressive. Hermanson doesn't get put out by anybody. Jared Cannonier, he had him hurt like 2 or 3 times. Duncan, he beat the shit out of, and that win has aged very well. Beat Brad Tavares, knocked out Brad Tavares. Actually, that hasn't aged well. Did what he had to do against Tululin, but I think these wins against CLD and Hermanson are so good. And again, against Jared Cannonier, he had a fantastic performance. He couldn't get the job done. Because Cannonier's tough. MVP couldn't do it when he knocked down Cannonier. Even Kyle Baralho couldn't finish him on the ground. Imavov couldn't knock him down. Didn't knock down Jared Cannonier. So Cannonier's just tough. But Kopylov is proving to not be so tough. He got knocked down by Costa. And then for the rest of the fight, he just couldn't get his game going. As soon as the fight isn't going his way, like, it's hard for him to kick into high gear. Now, he could drop RoboCop in round 3 and maybe, stay in it and wobble Rodriguez and put him out because RoboCop's chin isn't the best. But what was I going to say? I think RoboCop's going to get him out of there in round 1. Unlike Paulo Costa, I think Rodriguez is going to have more of a killer instinct. When he puts people out, they don't fucking move. So when he knocks down Roman, he's not going to fucking move. And Roman is going to be in major trouble. Will not be, mobster head mafia of these crime syndicate. Roman is going to be taken out by the Brazilian mob, the Portuguese pundits. So give me Rodriguez by round 1 KO. The power don't lie, and he's a plotty striker like Paulo, so he's Kopulov's worst nightmare here. Anyway, next fight. Is this on the main card? No, it's still on the prelims. Thank God. Bo Nickel, he should not be on a main card of a fucking, pay-per-view after what happened against RDR. How dare you even consider putting him on a main card again? But that being said, I got to go with Bo Nickel here. I think Nickel's going to win by decision. Vieira barely outstruck Tresean Gore. Didn't put Gore out. Couldn't finish Gore on the ground. That's a terrible look. Against Petrosky. Loses to Petrosky on the feet. That's an even worse look. Petrosky, and he submits. Cody Brundage, he submits, but those two are both bums. Chris Curtis beats him, and I think Bo Nickel is Chris Curtis level. I really do. Like, he outstruck, Paul Craig on the feet. So subbed Cody Brundage. So same thing. Val Woodburn showed that he has hands, and I know he hasn't faced the best of competition. But this fight showed that Bo Nickel can get it done on the feet for 15 minutes. He can. Rodolfo Vieira's shit. He got outstruck by Petrosky, barely survived Gore. What is Nickel going to do? He has athleticism. He has power. His hands are fast. RDR, he was getting knee to the body over and over again, but he was cracking Rainier with some counter shots. Like before the knee to the body, he did hit RDR with the counter right. I think Bo Nickel is going to improve from the RDR fight. I think he's going to work on his striking a lot more. He's been gone for a little bit. But I think that's enough time for him to work on his hands and work on his stand-up game. And if he can outstrike Paul Craig, who primarily focuses on his wrestling and what he does off his back with his jiu-jitsu, what's the difference here? Vieira's just going to be in his guard. He's going to throw up subs. I actually think there's a really good chance that Bo Nickel ends up in Vieira's guard, fishing for submissions, beating him up on the ground. I really do. And even on the feet, I don't think Vieira is Bo's level whatsoever. So give me Bo Nickel to get the win against Vieira. I know this is a strange stylistic matchup, and a lot of people wanted this fight before. And maybe stylistic matchups that, challenge Bo are going to, put him out and make him lose. But I really think Vieira has nothing for Bo on the feet, and I think he could even get taken down. So give me Bo Nickel by decision. All right, next fight is between Benny Dariush and BSD. I'm picking Benoit Saint-Denis. I'm picking him by round 1 KO. And I know Vinny and I debated this fight a lot. Even Anakin, debated it with Vinny. But I don't care, man. I don't care. Benil Dariush got dropped by Moicano. Money Moicano, who is primarily a grappler. Primarily a BJJ and wrestling guy. And he was able to drop Dariush with the right hand. What the hell is somebody like the God of War going to do with that? He took down Ruffy at will. Even made it competitive on the feet. Kyle Propolek is tough. That's why Denis couldn't put him out. It took Dober 3 rounds to put him out, and Propolek was on the way to winning that one. But Denis was in Propolek's face and smothering him and dominating him. Against Moicano, he got taken down and beaten up, but he survived, and on the feet, he won that second round, in my opinion. He did win that second round against Moicano. Like, I think Benoit Saint-Denis is honestly underrated on the feet. Poirier, he took down and nearly subbed, but he had staff. For Vola, he knocks out with a head kick. Like, this is what I'm worried about against Beneil Dariush. I'm just afraid that Benoit Saint-Denis is going to find a way to get back up, just like Charles did. Just, Arman kept it on the feet. Moicano managed to get up. Like, Gamrot was never down for long. I really do think that Beneil Dariush is not a killer on the ground. He has no finishing instinct. The guys he takes down get right back up. And if you give Benoit Saint-Denis any space, Saint-Denis is going to make you pay. Just like Charles did, just like Sarukian did, just like Moicano did. There is not going to be a moment in this fight. There is going to be a moment in this fight where Dariush gets dropped. It's whether or not he gets finished. And I really do think that Saint-Denis is a killer on the feet. He doesn't allow people to survive. He did against Prepolek, but Prepolek's tough. Beneil Dariush has a glass chin. If you're managing to get dropped by Moicano, who really has no power at all, what's a guy with actual solid power going to do? He's going to put him out cold. So because I don't trust the chin of Dariush, because I think Denis is going to survive takedown attempts, I really do think Denis is going to make him pay. I have Denis by round 1 KO. The chin of Dariush is still really bad, and he's old. All right, next fight is between Leon Edwards and Carlos Prates. God, this card is fucking stacked, man. I'm going with Prates. I think Prates is winning by round 2 KO. Leon Edwards just doesn't have it in him, man. The mentality's gone. He was getting beaten up by Bilal Muhammad. Muhammad was showing him Canelo hands even beyond the wrestling. Sean Brady, he got subbed so easily. Like, he just lost himself, man. On the feet, Edwards was just bad here. Covington was getting some shots off. Kamaru Usman in both their fights had Edwards up against the fence, teeing off on him. If Prates manages to tee off on him on the fence, he's going to get put out. Simple as that. I know Leon might be a tough style for Prates to deal with, since Gary is also a lanky technical striker and showed him levels on the feet and hurt him multiple times and stuck out the jab and made him frustrated. But people forget, man, Gary was starting to slow down in round 5, and Prates nearly took Ian out in round 5. Had him crumbling against the fence, nearly put him out. Even in a fight where he lost, Prates still had the dog in him. Was still a fucking warrior until the very end. Geoff Neal, he fully figures out. And I really do think that Leon Edwards is closer to Geoff Neal right now in terms of killer instinct and, fighting ability than he is Ian Machado Gary. Machado Gary is a really tough son of a bitch who never gives up a fight, took Shavkat the distance, is very competent on the feet. Geoff Neal throws shit, and then when, he's the nail, he gets hurt. That's Leon Edwards. As soon as he's the nail in the striking, he just doesn't know what to do. He's a sitting duck. And if he allows himself to be put in a stationary position, against Prates at all in this one. He's going to get put out. And I know Leon doesn't get put out by anybody or a lot of people. But Prates has insane power. He can put out anybody. Seriously. Even had Ian Machado Gary hurt. And who's had Ian hurt besides Song Kanan? So if Leon Edwards isn't pushing on the gas early and for the whole fight, he's going to get knocked out. He's going to get put out like Neil Magny. So give me Prates to just pressure forward. Leon Edwards starts to not look himself, and then Prates chins him. Anyway, next fight we have between Sean Brady and Michael Morales. This is the feature fight of the night. And I'm going with Prates, man. I'm going with Prates. I know that Brady's so good. He proved to be so good against Leon Edwards. He proved to smother Gilbert Burns. He proved to Kimura Kelvin Gastelum, who doesn't get finished by anyone. Bilal Muhammad knocked him out, and then Bilal Muhammad became champion. I get it. But Michael Morales is the scariest guy that Brady has dealt with since Bilal Muhammad. Scariest guy on the feet. And if you look at that Burns fight, Burns had that Brazilian strength, and he managed to get up against Sean Brady. If Morales gets up at all here, if he manages to get to his feet at any point against Sean Brady, it's going to frustrate Brady and tire him out. Michael Morales, what is his height? 6 foot, long-ass reach. He can use those arms and legs to get him up. He can use he's how much? 2 inches taller, but also he's so lanky. And he can use that long frame of his to get back to his feet. He's got a lot of strength. Like, if you look at his fights, he's got almost like Ngannou level, like, momentum and power and just throwing shit at will and not tiring out. And people forget, man, Morales also has a judo background, trained in MMA since he was a kid, won his last couple fights by taking people down. Like, 3 of his last 5 fights, he got the guy down to the ground. Like, he's no slouch in the wrestling either. I think he's good enough to the point that he's not somebody like a Burns or a Gastelum that Brady's dealt with, and he can get up. He's super strong. He's super muscly. He's super long. All those ingredients tell me that Morales could reverse Brady and end up on top, or he could use those long limbs of him to get back up. And if this fight's on the feet at all, I think Morales is going to school Brady. Burns had no killer instinct, but he could have easily jabbed Brady way more than he did. I think if Morales has any moment to get back up and prove himself on the feet, he's going to do it. So give me Morales to knock Brady out. If this is on the feet at all, he's way too long and way too powerful to just, never find the chin of Sean Brady. I really think that's going to happen. Next fight is between the co-main event. I love this fight between Valentina Shevchenko and Weili Zhang. Besides Islam versus JDM, this is a true super fight right here. This is the most hyped up fight. This is the one that every fan wants to see. Both these women are so dominant. Flyweight champion and strawweight champion. Goats of their divisions. Duking it out. I think somebody said this is more hype than Nunes versus Ronda, Nunes versus Cyborg, or Rose. Valentina versus Nunes. Like, this is the most high level matchup since those 2 fights, and I'm siding with Weili here. I'm sorry, I'm done doubting her. She dealt with basically a Shevchenko matchup, a woman way taller than her, who can wrestle and get her down, And Wei Li was able to reverse position. She muscled her way on top. She was able to get takedowns against Suarez, who was a tall-ass wrestler. Grasso, when she was on her back, she couldn't do anything. She was only able to really get Valentina down when she was the one shooting the takedowns. Zhang can get dominant positions off her back. And that's the difference here. She was able to do it against Yan Xiaonan, and Xiaonan was way taller than her. She was fucking a giant statue. Tatiana Suarez, I think, was even taller than Yan. And she outmuscled both of them. Lemos is a tall strawweight fighter, and she got her down. Like, Shevchenko, I guess, is her size. She's 1 inch taller than her. So maybe that's the difference maker, and maybe Shevchenko just beats up Zhang on the feet. In the grappling, though, I think Weili Zhang, she picked up Ngannou. Her strength is unfucking real. She flows like water and fucking crashes. And on the feet, this could be competitive too. Grasso was fighting her tooth and nail on the feet for 2 out of the 3 fights. Showing fast hands, giving her a challenge on the feet. Weili Zhang, I think, is just as good of a striker as Alexa Grasso, if not more so. And if Valentina shows any spinning attacks or openings on the feet, Weili is going to drag her down and end up on her back or end up on top. It just is what it is. There's different levels to the wrestling. Manon Fiorot gave her a really tough fight. And why did she do that? Because she was wrestling and leaning on her against the fence. Pressure. And even getting her down a time or two. And I think Weili Zhang can not only take her down, but take rounds from her. I really do. She could even lock in submission attempts. Now, I think Shevchenko was able to survive against Taila Santos, but that was a split. Small wrestler in Grasso subs her. Fiorot gives her trouble. She doesn't like wrestlers. She doesn't like the wrestling game. And Zhang, if she reverses Valentina on top at any point, she's going to take her down at will. I'm sorry. Once she gets her game going, she is very hard to stop. And I think she's going to survive the takedown attempts of Shevchenko and get some takedowns of her own. So give me Zhang to smother Shevchenko. She's dealt with way taller athletes. She can make it competitive on the feet. This is just a tough stylistic matchup for Valentina. So give me Zhang. I love Valentina. Handsome. Sexy. I'm so happy. I love you. Thank you. I'm picking my fucking quote. Zhang Weili to beat Valentina Shevchenko. I'm done doubting my quote. No diddy. Hey, the Hank salute. Tan Hut. Not Andrew Schultz. Andrew Nance is here. Drew Ups is here. Hey, Drew. Hey, Drew. What you doing with that gun in your hand? I said I shot her. I caught her messing around downtown. Caught her messing around. I said I shot her. I caught her messing around downtown. But, hey, Joe. Hey, Jude. Anyway. Main event of the evening. Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della Maddalena's last name is so long they can't even, fit it on Tapology. But man, I think Maddalena is going to beat Makhachev. I really do. This fight against Dustin Poirier told me everything I needed to know. Dustin got up so easily. He survived on bottom. He survived on his back. He survived on his chest and on his back. When Makhachev took his back, he survived. And then got right back up and put it on Makhachev for 5 rounds. This is the pathway to victory for Jack Della Maddalena. There it might be no one better in the UFC right now at getting up from on bottom than Jack Della Maddalena. He put on a masterpiece against Bilal Muhammad. showed perfect concentration and patience on the ground. He has that just get up ability. I heard that he trains nothing but wrestling, scrambles, and getting up. He's going to be fully prepared for Islam, who's going to be smaller than him. 5'10 to 5'11. He's a little bit taller. And Makshev's tough. But, oh, it's impressive. He subbed Renato Moicano, literally on one day's notice. Alexander Volkanovski knocked him out on short notice. Volkanovski on a training camp takes him all the fucking way. Has Makhachev on bottom, looking up at the clock, getting beaten up, got dropped. Oliveira, this is his most impressive performance still. But Oliveira, we saw against Chandler, he gets rocked. We saw against Dustin and Gaethje. We saw against Dustin and Justin, he gets rocked and put on his back. So that sort of takes away from it a little bit. Like, it was going to happen, and then Makhachev had the sub ability on bottom. But Dustin Poirier, he should have gotten out of there in 2 to 3 rounds. 2 to 3 rounds. And instead, it looked like Poirier worked on his get-up ability. And if you do that against Makhachev, and you trust your hands enough, like JDM can, then when JDM gets up, I think Islam's going to be in trouble. Della Maddalena has fantastic boxing defense. Really slick and powerful and quick combinations. Knees to the body and to the head. Like, he's going to be throwing strikes that Makhachev hasn't dealt with smaller guys or guys his height. Like, Maddalena is going to use his size to his advantage. He's going to get in the clinch, rip Makhachev to the body, rip him to the head, rip him with hooks around the guard. He's going to treat Islam like he did with Bilal. Against Bilal Muhammad, his hands just got better and better as time went on. He just figured him out. Got through the guard, ripped to the body, threw uppercuts and elbows, made it a dirty fight, and he can do that with Islam just like Volk did. He can fight tooth and nail. There's a chance, the biggest chance here is that, oh wait, hold on, what up? Hey, Drew Ups, good to see you. I'm doing all right, just wrapping up this stream. Hi, Hank. Hello, Kobe Wiggle. Finally, Kobe Wiggle's here. How you doing, Kobe? Hank, do you think Clown will go live after the fights this Saturday or Sunday? I really don't know. I've heard different things, that he's on hiatus and dealing with stuff, and he's going to come back. But maybe it's just a temporary thing, but I wouldn't count on it. I wouldn't trust that he's going to go live. If he goes live tonight, then yeah, he's back. But if he doesn't go live Friday, I really don't think he's going to be around on Saturday or Sunday. I just don't know, man. I can't say for sure. There's a chance, but he would have gone live at some point today or on Thursday or something, you know? Like, he needs to come back to get people acquainted with the game, and he just hasn't done so. I really don't know what to say. He hasn't even given us announcements. In my opinion, Volk beat Makhachev. JDM is bigger than Volk. He will KO his ass. I really do think so. I think on the feet, there's no competition here. There is a chance that he can't get through the guard like, Dustin did, but Dustin's striking is off. Dustin just can't find the target often. Takes him a while. Volk was able to find the target, and JDM, I think, is a way better striker a way more polished and technical striker than Dustin. He has more variety to his strikes. He's way good at getting up close with his opposition and making it a fight to the point he can land on them. He's got knees. And the question is, can he land through the guard? And can he get up from the takedowns? I think JDM can because Dustin was able to. and JDM's way bigger. And his get-up ability against Bilal Muhammad was absolute perfection, and he trains nothing but scrambles and get-ups. Unless Islam can lock in a random fucking Darce out of nowhere and grab that neck with perfect timing, it's mostly him being on top or on the back of JDM and the JDM just getting right back up, because Islam is smaller or at the height of Bilal Muhammad, and we saw what JDM did against Bilal, a smaller guy with solid punches, solid striking, and just got right back up against Bilal. And Bilal trained with Khabib and Islam. He knows their wrestling style. He knows their chain wrestling. And JDM got right back up. And he works with Craig Jones. He can neutralize the wrestling ability of these Dagestanis perfectly. And on the feet, that's just the question. Can he beat up or KO Islam? Charles seems to be saying yes. I think he can definitely beat up Islam. If Dustin can, I think JDM can, and then some. He's got better striking accuracy, probably a longer reach, can get through the guard with knees. The striking of JDM is way more advanced. Against someone like Bilal, who doesn't get hit often, he made fucking Bilal Muhammad look like a Tom Savini makeup job. Like he was bloody and battered. And so was Makhachev against Volk. What's telling us that JDM can't do the same? So give me JDM by round 3 knockout. He's going to keep getting up from Islam's takedowns. He's going to tire Makhachev out, because Makhachev's going to spend a lot of time wrestling and less time striking. And I think as soon as he's the nail, JDM's just going to start ripping to the body and to the head and eventually put him out by TKO. So JDM by round 3 knockout. I've been good. Did you enjoy your vacation? I did, Kobe Wiggle. I loved walking along the beaches, took some really good hikes, had really good sandwiches at the deli as well as dinner at the pub. So yeah, Carmel was awesome. The food was really good at the deli and the restaurant we went to. And the hikes were out of this world. We got to see some seals, some sea lions. Got to see some sea otters. It was gray. It was a gray fucking sky, and we still saw a bunch of wildlife on our hikes. So those are great memories, Kobe. Yeah, really good. But yeah, I think JDM is so good at counter wrestling, and he's a really good striker. I think he's really underrated. I don't think Islam is ready for a guy with the perfect style against him like JDM is. If Dustin can do it, JDM can do it and then some. That's my main point. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. This is my preview and picks. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope you guys agreed with most of my picks. I know this is a very closely contested card, and there are probably going to be plenty of fights that you disagree with me with, but that's what's fun about the sport. You never know what's going to happen. So yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. I'm going to give you guys 2 more minutes, and then I'm wrapping this shit up. So any last comments for Hank the Tank before he goes? Great show. Thank you, Eucelius. I appreciate it, man. Maybe not as great a show as the Frown Foe, but definitely a pretty solid effort from me. It's a preview and pick, so what do you expect? But it's not going to be Frown Foe level, but definitely tried. Enjoy the fights. Thank you, Eucelius. I appreciate the feedback, man. But yeah, that's going to do it for Hank the Tank. I am your Grad Admiral. You have been the Troopers and Grinders. And as always, you have escaped the war zone for now. Hey, Nickel. It's me, Roman. I went bowling and I got a few pins knocked down, but then RoboCop, he got a strike. He struck me, Roman. I went down like bowling pins, Roman. I went all over the place. You have to get revenge for Russian family. Oh, I'm dead, Roman.